Nelly tip drill controversy. In 2003, Nelly released the project The Dirty Versions, The Reinvention. This was a remix album where Nelly remixed songs from his first two albums. The most infamous song from this remix is without a doubt the remix to Nelly's hit song E.I. The remix is known as Tip Drill.
I need a tip drill. See a tip drill. Point out. Where she at? Point out. Where she at? Point out.
The song per se in itself wasn't necessarily the center of controversy. It was the music video for the song, which was prominently played on BET Uncut. For those who don't know, BET Uncut was a late night music video block program that aired on BET from 2000 to 2006. It aired more explicit music videos, and Tip Drill is one of, if not the most famous music videos that aired on this program. The music video is absolutely wild. If you've seen it, then you know exactly what I mean. The part in the music video that everybody remembers and talks about is the credit card scene. I won't go any further with that. If you know, you know. But the next year in 2004, Nelly was set to make an appearance at Spelman College for a bone marrow drive as part of his foundation, The Show for Kids, which was created to bring attention to the cause. For those who don't know, Nelly's sister had leukemia, which affects your bone marrow. Students at the college got wind that Nelly was going to appear, and they took issue with this. This was due to the Tip Drill music video. A protest on campus was planned if Nelly did appear for the event, but this would never happen as Nelly canceled his appearance and the event was canceled. The whole reason Nelly wanted to do the event was to do a fundraiser for his sister that had leukemia. People protesting against Nelly appearing on campus for the fundraiser felt that why should they help his sister if he was degrading women like he did in the Tip Drill music video. Sadly, the next year in 2005, Nelly's sister passed away. Rest in peace. You protesters robbed me of an opportunity. Unfairly, my brother, because we could have still had your conversation after I got my opportunity, but it could have been somebody that was coming to that bone marrow drive that day that was possibly a match for my sister. That didn't come because of that. 2 Live Crew obscenity case. The 2 Live Crew are a legendary rap group hailing from Miami, Florida that rose to prominence in the 1980s. Calling the group controversial is an understatement. I could honestly make a whole video breaking down each and every one of their controversies, but we would be here all day. Their music was deemed to be vulgar, obscene, and misogynistic.
Roll to the music and shaking real fast. Bend over backwards, make the shout, and work that body in and out.
In 1989, the group released their third album, As Nasty As They Wanna Be. The cover, along with the lead single, Me So Horny, led to outrage. The single peaked at number 26 on the Billboard Hot 100 and topped the Billboard Hot Rap Tracks chart. It was their biggest single at the time, and this exposure led to the 2 Live Crew receiving constant criticism. It got so bad to the point that the group got into legal trouble. A year later, in 1990, a Broward County judge declared As Nasty As They Wanna Be to be obscene. This was unprecedented and a big deal, with the 2 Live Crew believing that this violated the First Amendment. Record store owners were arrested for selling the album, and multiple counties in Florida tried to ban the album. The group was also arrested for performing their music at concerts. Also in 1990, the group released their fourth album titled Banned in the USA. This is an obvious reference to the controversy surrounding the group. Upon its release, it became the first album to bear the standardized parental advisory label in the lower right hand corner. On the album, there's a song called F. Martinez, which is in reference to the governor of Florida at the time, Bob Martinez. He condemned their music. The group also targeted the then county sheriff of Broward County, which was Nick Navarro. In the end, 2 Live Crew came out victorious in their fight for freedom of speech. Jay-Z elevator incident. In 2014, Jay-Z, his wife Beyonce, and her sister Solange attended the annual Met Gala event. While leaving an after party for the event, the three, along with the bodyguard, got onto an elevator. While on the elevator, Solange attacked Jay-Z as she was held back by the bodyguard. This whole situation happened on video, and an employee at the hotel they were at leaked the footage to TMZ. It was initially reported that the footage was sold to TMZ for $250,000, but former TMZ employees said that the number was much lower. By much lower, I mean that it said that the footage was purchased for around $5,000. Sidebar, but 2 months earlier, in February of 2014, the Ray Rice elevator incident happened, and it was reported that TMZ paid around $100,000 for that footage, but it's been said that that amount has been overblown as well. Unlike Ray Rice, Jay-Z did not put hands on a woman in the elevator, which in this case is Solange. It's never been directly said why Solange did what she did, but there happens to be a ton of theories. Some are more credible than others. The biggest theory is that the fight was over Jay-Z's infidelity. Reports came out that Jay-Z was allegedly flirting with Rachel Roy, who is the ex-wife of his former business partner, Dame Dash. This has never been substantiated, but it was also reported that Jay-Z said something disrespectful to Beyonce and Solange, which led to Solange going off. This turned out to be true, as Jay-Z rapped about it on his 444 album.
You ex-Solange, knowing all along, all you had to say you was wrong.
So, as you heard, Jay-Z admitted to egging Solange on, which led to her actions. Jay-Z referenced the altercation along with his infidelity on multiple songs on his 444 album, which was released 3 years after the incident in 2017. Beyonce also made songs about these same topics on her 2016 album, Lemonade. However, one of the most famous responses from Beyonce about the elevator situation came just months after the incident, all the way back in 2014.
Like elevators, of course sometimes go down when it's $1 billion on an elevator.
We'll probably never know exactly what led up to the elevator incident, but like I said, there's a ton of theories, with some being more credible than others. Nas Summer Jam 2002. Now, this is probably going to be the least known topic I cover in this video, but I've decided to include it for 2 different reasons. For one, I wanted to include it because it's a part of the history of one of the biggest rap beefs of all time. The other reason is because of how much controversy Nas would have been in if he went through with it. But essentially, as many people already know watching this video, that during the early 2000s, Jay-Z and Nas were embroiled in one of the biggest rap beefs ever. Things got really nasty between the two, but it's widely accepted that Nas won the battle. There's another controversial moment from this battle that I plan to discuss if you guys want me to make a part 2, but in 2012, a video leaked of a stunt that Nas planned to pull at Summer Jam in 2002. What's the stunt, you might ask? I'm really not trying to get this video clapped, but let's just say that the stunt involved a dummy of Jay-Z, a rope, and a trap door. You guys get the picture. Well, Hot 97, who hosts Summer Jam, weren't a fan of what Nas was trying to do, so he no-showed the event, an event that Nas was set to headline.
On stage, and at the end we had a great set built to really shock Hot 97 and shock the whole New York City. And when they saw what it was, they was like, really, they had me come bring the set early in the morning just to see what it was. And some clown dude named Randy, some clown dude that works for Def Jam, and he's supposed to be a production guy who never did production in his life, is controlling the show up there and telling us, they just want to see our set. Say, oh, you got this and Jay. Oh, we can't have that. I said, how you know who we dissing? Y'all don't know who we dissing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And wait a minute, what does this have to do with Jay? I mean, why does Jay have to do with it? You know what I'm saying? What does he have to do with my show? This is my show. And they told us early in the morning, well, if y'all doing that, y'all can't do it. Let me know if y'all still want to do the show. I'll tell the crowd right now. I just hung up on him.
Wow.
That's what Tracy did. And it's like, yo, how you going to treat a brother like that?
I know that this is an explained video, but I shouldn't have to explain why the stunt that Nas planned to pull would have been controversial. In my opinion, it would have taken their feud to a whole other level and not in a good way. I understand that Nas was trying to one-up Jay-Z, who had a legendary Summer Jam set the year prior in 2001. But I'm glad that Nas could not carry out his original plan. I get that Jay-Z definitely crossed the line on Super Ugly, but man, I don't think that this was it. People can disagree with me all they want, but things would have gotten very, very bad. Eminem racist tapes. Eminem is without a doubt one of, if not the most controversial rappers of all time. For this video, I've decided to only do one controversy per person to discuss as many topics as I can. He's been in a lot of drama throughout the years, and one of his biggest controversies is known as the racist tapes. In the early 2000s, Eminem was embroiled in a feud with the Source magazine. This stemmed from the Source magazine never giving Eminem a perfect 5 mic rating. This meant a lot to him and other artists because back in the day, the Source was looked at as a hip-hop Bible. If you got a 5 mic rating in the Source, then you were the man. Before being signed to a record label, Eminem appeared on their unsigned hype column. Then, when Eminem was signed, the Source rated his sophomore album, the Slim Shady LP, a 4 out of 5 mics. Then his rating took a significant drop when he dropped his third album, the Marshall Mathers LP. The Source gave this 2 out of 5 mics, which prompted Eminem to diss the magazine.
When the unsigned hype column and the Source was like our only source of light. When the mics used to mean something, the 4 was like you were the Now it's like the least you get. 3.5 now just means you a piece of 4.5 or 5 means you Biggie, Jigga, Nas, or Benzino. I don't even think you realize you playing with motherfuckers' lives. I don't watch Dre get on the chronic, probably cause I was on it. Now you me out of my mics twice, I let it slide. I said I wouldn't hold my fucking breath to get a 5. I was right.
M's beef with the Source shifted to Ray Benzino, who co-owned the magazine at the time. He was a rapper as well, and the two exchanged diss tracks with each other.
The 5 mic giver, the Marshall Maggot ripper. Better never let me see you with some juice, I'm gonna strip you.
In November of 2003, a press conference was held by the Source magazine. At this press conference, a tape of Eminem's early work was played. This would go on to be known as the racist tape or tapes due to its subject matter. It's somewhat unclear when the recordings of this tape were made. Benzino said that Eminem was 21 when he recorded the material. This has been refuted with claims that the material was recorded in 1990, which puts Eminem around 18 years old. There's even some people who say that the material was recorded in 1988, which makes Eminem around 16 considering he was born in 1972. At the press conference, Benzino said that 3 white people from Detroit walked into the office of Dave Mays, who's the founder of the Source magazine. This group of people delivered what was played at the press conference, which Benzino said that they paid $10,000 for.
Because we were black and white.
blacks and whites sometimes mix, but black girls only want your money cause of dumb chicks. So I'ma say like this, don't date a black girl, take it as it is.
The Source planned to give away copies of the tape with their February issue, but Eminem tried to put a halt to this by suing the magazine. Eminem claimed that they breached federal copyright laws by reproducing the previously unreleased tape. In 2004, The Source was ordered to pay Eminem's legal fees for violating a federal court order not to publish full versions of Eminem's lyrics from the tape. The federal court order that The Source violated was that they were allowed to publish limited excerpts from the lyrics and to distribute CDs containing small clips of the songs. The Source did not follow this and they paid for it. Eminem ended up apologizing for what was said on the tapes. The tape they played today was something I made out of anger, stupidity, and frustration when I was a teenager. I had just broken up with my girlfriend who was African American, and I reacted like the angry, stupid kid I was. I hope people will take it for the foolishness that it was, not for what somebody is trying to make it into today. Chris Brown and Rihanna incident. In February of 2009, Chris Brown was arrested for physically attacking his then girlfriend at the time, Rihanna. The news spread like wildfire, and I'll never forget being a kid and seeing the pictures of Rihanna's face after the incident appearing on the news. Chris claims that the fight came about after Rihanna attacked him during an argument over another woman. He further added that their relationship initially took a turn after Chris lied to her about being unfaithful. After this, their relationship was never the same and led to that fateful night in 2009. Rihanna saw a text on Chris's phone from this other woman, which started a fight in the car after leaving a party. Rihanna has backed this being the reason behind the incident. It's reported that prior to that infamous night, 2 more incidents involving DV were discovered. One happened in Europe, while the other happened in Rihanna's home country, Barbados. In August of 2009, Chris Brown was sentenced to serve 5 years probation and to spend more than 1,400 hours in labor-oriented service for what he did to Rihanna. When Chris was arrested, he was 19 years old with a bright future ahead of him. This incident significantly not only affected his career, but his personal life. He lost a lot because of it, and it will always be a permanent stain on him. He still went on to become a massive global superstar, but one can imagine how differently his career could have been if that night never happened. Cameron, No Snitching.
If you had seen who shot you, would you have told police?
No.
Why?
Because the type of business I'm in, it would definitely hurt my business. And the way that I was raised, I just don't do that. I was raised differently, not to tell.
In 2007, Cameron was interviewed by CBS News for their show Eye to Eye. During his interview, he was questioned about getting shot in 2005 while he was in Washington, D.C. His response to not snitching on the person who did that to him wasn't necessarily the controversial part. It was his response to the following question.
If there's a serial killer living next door to you, though, and you know that person is, killing people, would you be a snitch if you called police and told them?
If I knew the serial killer was living next door to me?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't call and tell anybody on him, but I'll probably move. Like, I'm not going to be around because I don't need to be living around serial killers, but I'm not going to call and be like, put the signs up like, yo, the serial killer's in 4E.
It's not your responsibility.
Exactly.
Cameron's response to this question sparked outrage and backlash. It got so bad to the point that Cam was forced to apologize for his comments. Looking back now, I can see how these comments could be viewed as offensive, especially to those who have suffered their own personal tragedies or to those who put their lives on the line to protect our citizens from crime. Please understand that I was expressing my own personal frustration at my own personal circumstances. I in no way was intending to be malicious or harmful. I apologize deeply for this error in judgment. Last year, in 2024, Cameron spoke about the No Snitching clip and said that CBS News chopped up his interview and botched the final edit. He claimed that they left out some context and some of his points. Drake Ghostwriter fiasco. Ghostwriting is a very touchy subject when it comes to rap. Rappers pride themselves for writing their own raps, and it's widely frowned upon if you don't, especially upon the hardcore fan base who express the importance of living up to the standard that was set since the genre's inception. Ghostwriting in rap isn't anything new, but by far the biggest and most controversial case deals with Drake. Most people watching this video are more than likely aware of the beef between Meek Mill and Drake. Well, this beef with Meek Mill essentially started over Drake simply not tweeting about Meek Mill's 2015 album, Dreams Worth More Than Money. Drake not doing this caused Meek Mill to spaz out and expose Drake for having a quote-unquote ghostwriter. This alleged ghostwriter turned out to be Quentin Miller, who worked on the song Rico, which Drake featured on for Dreams Worth More Than Money.
Old ways, new women, gotta keep a balance.
The girl of your dreams to me is probably not a challenge.
Quentin Miller did a reference for this track along with other songs on Drake's 2015 mixtape, If You're Reading This, It's Too Late. In response to Meek's tweets, Drake dropped the diss track Charged Up. Then 2 days later, Drake dropped another bombshell, which was Back to Back. Meek Mill replied with U.O.E.N.O, but this song bombed and Drake unanimously won the battle, at least in the case of public opinion. Their beef goes further because apparently before Meek Mill's tweet, Drake not attending one of Meek Mill's concerts led to resentment. This resentment and the Rico situation were contributing factors into Meek tweeting what he did. Aside from Quentin Miller, there have been other people that have been alleged to write or ghostwrite for Drake. The narrative that Drake does not write his raps and that he has ghostwriters will never go away. It's been a topic in every beef that Drake has been in since Meek Mill, i.e. Pusha T and Kendrick Lamar. Kanye West 2009 MTV VMA incident.
I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. One of the best videos of all time.
I know earlier I said that someone can make a video of all the controversies that Eminem has been in and how that would last for hours. Well, I think that there's one man who can have a longer video, which is Kanye West, who now simply goes by Ye. There are so many controversies I could have picked from, including what has been going on recently, which seems to be lasting forever. I don't think that it'll stop anytime soon, and it's really sad to see. Like I said, I really wanted to focus on one controversy per person, and the 2009 MTV VMA incident is what I chose. In 2009, Ye attended the 2009 MTV VMAs with his girlfriend at the time, Amber Rose. He showed up to the event with a bottle of Hennessy in his hand, and it's reported that throughout the night, he became more and more drunk. Ye appearing with a bottle of Hennessy led to a lot of people behind the scenes to feel uneasy. Their feelings were justified because Ye interrupted Taylor Swift as she accepted her award for Best Female Video. To say that this moment led to a media firestorm is an understatement. It was a major talking point in the media. It got to the point that Barack Obama, the president of the United States at the time, talked about it. He famously called Ye a jackass for his actions. Ye also got heat because his actions largely overshadowed the Michael Jackson tribute during the VMAs, with Michael passing away just 3 months prior to the event. The fallout of the 2009 VMAs led to Ye leaving the United States for a period of time. He then came back to Hawaii to record his legendary album My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. In an interview with Jay Leno, Ye explained that he felt that after his mother's death in 2007, he never really had any time to grieve due to constantly being on tour and being in the limelight. He also apologized to Taylor for letting his dream of how award shows should be overshadow her big moment. Ye also apologized to Taylor via his blog. A couple years later, in 2013, Ye was interviewed by the New York Times and he flat out said that he did not have any regrets about the incident and that he succumbed to peer pressure by apologizing to Taylor Swift. Since then, Kanye and Taylor have gone on to have one of the weirdest relationships ever, with them having their ups and downs over the years. The death of Eazy-E. Eazy-E is easily one of the most iconic rappers of all time. He was a visionary and a true hip-hop pioneer. Sadly, he passed away at the age of 30 in 1995 due to AIDS. Like Biggie and Tupac, Eazy's death is also seen as controversial. This is because of the circumstances surrounding Eazy's diagnosis of AIDS and the timing of his death. Several conspiracy theories are out there, with the popular one being that Suge Knight was involved. People who believe this point to an infamous joke that Suge Knight said during an interview in 2003 on Jimmy Kimmel Live.
So they got this new thing out there, people sell them all the time. They got this stuff they get blood from somebody with AIDS, and then they shoot you with it.
Oh, so that seems bad.
That's a slow death.
Yeah.
An Eazy-E thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, no. Okay.
Eazy-E's own son is a believer in this theory. I will say that this theory has never been proven and it's only speculation. Those who were close to Eazy also bring up how none of his kids, his wife, or the plethora of women that he slept with contracted the virus. While Eazy's wife and his kids don't have the virus, it has been disputed that Eazy did in fact infect 2 women with the virus. In 2021, a documentary called The Mysterious Death of Eazy-E was released. During this documentary, one of Eazy's daughters talks to a California physician named Dr. Wilbert Jordan. He made the claim that Eazy infected 2 of his patients before his death. He also added that Eazy's widow, Tamika Wright, is extremely lucky that she did not contract the virus because as Eazy's immune system diminished, the likelihood of him transmitting it to someone increased. He further explained that since she tested negative while pregnant, then her baby was going to test negative as well. People also bring up the point of how seemingly fast Eazy-E died from the virus. Crazy Bone of Bone Thugs and Harmony, who were signed to Eazy's label, Ruthless Records, has called this out. That whole situation was just funny. I just say this, and this is what I've stood on from the beginning. That may be true, but all I have said in this case is I've seen people that's about to die from full-blown AIDS, and they look like they're about to die from full-blown AIDS. I've seen people that they have HIV, and they look totally normal. That's what he had. That's how Eazy-E looked when he died, totally normal. He didn't get skinny, didn't shrivel up, didn't shrink up, none of that. I just don't understand how it came on that fast. He died so quick. How did it happen like that? If you've got full-blown AIDS and you're terminal, have you seen people that are about to die from cancer? You look like you're going to. If you're about to die from a disease, you look like you're about to die from that disease. Eazy-E was diagnosed with AIDS in February of 1995 and he died the next month in March. People counter what Crazy said with the notion that Eazy-E most likely had the virus for a while, but it went untreated. It wasn't until Eazy finally got treatment where he found out that it was too late. He had AIDS, which is the advanced stage of HIV. Those close to Eazy have also noted that he did have a dry cough before he was diagnosed, but they did not think much of it because of how much weed he smoked. I should add that it's also possible to have HIV but not show symptoms immediately. Mind you, this happened during the 90s, so they didn't have the medicine and research that we have today. According to the American Psychological Association, by 1994, AIDS became the leading cause of death for all Americans between the ages of 25 and 44 years old. Take Magic Johnson as an example. He was diagnosed with HIV in 1991. He most likely got diagnosed early on and he immediately sought treatment. He engaged in a lot of unprotected sex with different partners, just like Eazy-E. When he was diagnosed with the virus, his wife Cookie was pregnant. There was fear that Cookie and their son could have the virus as well. Cookie tested negative, and as Dr. Wilbur Jordan explained earlier, if the mother tests negative while pregnant, then the baby will too. This is why Cookie nor her son EJ have the virus, just like how Tamika and her daughter, who was born after Eazy died, don't have the virus. So in conclusion, people can believe what they want to believe. Some people believe it's a cut and dried case, while others believe in conspiracy theories. Only thing I have left to say is, rest in peace to Eazy-E. Snoop Dogg 1995-1996 trial. Snoop Dogg is, without a doubt, one of the most famous rappers ever. He's a rapper that literally everyone knows. Doesn't matter your race, ethnicity, and or background. He's beloved by many people, and it's so crazy to me how much he's changed his image throughout the years. Most people who love Snoop either forgot or are completely unaware of the fact that his career could have been cut short all the way back in the 90s. This is due to an incident that occurred in August of 1993. Snoop and his bodyguard were involved in a shooting that led to the death of Philip Waldemariam. If convicted, Snoop would have faced the rest of his life in prison and music history would have changed forever. The high-profile nature of the case, the backlash in the media for gangsta rap, Snoop's gang affiliations, timing with his debut album Doggy Style, negligence from the LAPD due to them accidentally destroying key evidence, and Snoop's claim of self-defense are just some of the factors that aided in the case being controversial. In 1994, Snoop Dogg released a movie and a soundtrack called Murder Was the Case.
My eyes are closed.
What a lot of fans don't know about this song is that it's not about the Philip Waldemariam case at all. When questioned about the song, Snoop said that he unknowingly spoke things into existence. In the song, he mentions his girlfriend was about to have his baby, which was not true. She wasn't pregnant and Snoop had not caught the case yet. While the incident occurred in 1993, the trial did not take place until late 1995 and ultimately concluded in early 1996. Snoop and his bodyguard were acquitted, but Snoop faced other charges such as accessory and voluntary manslaughter. The jury deadlocked on these charges, meaning that they could not reach a unanimous verdict. This led to a mistrial. This forever changed Snoop Dogg's life in the direction he wanted to go with music going forward. Last year, in 2024, Snoop Dogg successfully petitioned for his case to be sealed. Busta Rhymes' A-Rap Money. Busta Rhymes was the center of controversy back in 2008 when he released the single A-Rap Money for his album Back on My BS. Upon its release, the song received a ton of backlash for multiple reasons. One of the main reasons was due to the hook, which was done by Ron Browse. He loosely sung the Shahada, which is very important to the Islamic culture. People took issue with Ron basically mixing gibberish with the Shahada. DJs were suspended for playing the song, and some stations outright refused to play it. Busta ultimately made 3 different versions of the song, which included 2 remixes. In other versions, Busta changed the hook. Busta was further criticized for this due to reciting the beginning of the Quran. He was criticized because Busta is Muslim and people felt that he should have known the ramifications of doing what he did and how that might upset others. In response to the backlash, Busta is quoted as saying, "I really only respect the Arab culture. I ain't really trying to pay no attention to, these little people in political positions and executive positions that ain't Arab culture oriented people, because a lot of the times, what are you really showing all of this concern for?" One person who took issue with Busta was an Iraqi-Canadian rapper named The Narcissist.
It's represent us in Dubai. It ain't Arab money. It's called Arab money.
There's a video on Vlad TV all the way back in 2009 where The Narcissist, now known as Narcy, explains the full situation and why he took issue with the track. Most people probably remember the song from GTA 4 due to Yusuf. Let me know down in the comments how you feel about the song, whether you think it was offensive or not. The death of Tupac and Biggie. Biggie and Tupac are without a doubt 2 of the biggest rappers ever. Their feud in the 90s during the media-driven East Coast West Coast forever linked the 2 together. Aside from being 2 of the biggest rappers ever, they also have 2 of the biggest unsolved cases in rap history. It's believed by many that their cases are linked together. If you solve one, then there's a good chance you can solve the other. The reason why people believe this is because there's theories of Biggie being taken out as a result of Tupac's death. In September of 1996, Tupac was gunned down in Las Vegas, Nevada after attending a Mike Tyson fight. After the fight, Tupac got into his own scuffle, which ultimately led to his death. Nearly 30 years later, his case still remains unsolved, even though we know who the 4 men who were in the car that fired shots at Tupac. 3 out of the 4 men are dead, with the sole survivor, Keefe D, finally being arrested in 2023 for his connection to the crime. His trial is currently scheduled for February of 2026. The reason why Tupac's death is controversial is due to being a high-profile case going unsolved for almost 30 years and the numerous conspiracy theories that came from it. Conspiracy theories such as Tupac faking his own death, the government being involved, Suge Knight being involved, Bad Boy Records being involved, etc. What we do know is that just 6 months after Tupac died, Biggie suffered the same fate, death as a result of a drive-by shooting. This occurred in Los Angeles, California in March of 1997. Biggie's death is controversial for the same reasons as Tupac's. His death involves a lot of conspiracy theories as well. Theories such as it being an inside job, Death Row Records being involved, the LAPD being involved, etc. Arguably, the most prominent theory is that Death Row Records was involved due to Biggie dying in their backyard, with retaliation for Tupac being the alleged motive. I will say that Biggie's case is a lot more murky than Tupac's, because I do believe in the coming years we'll see some sort of justice in his case. Travis Scott 2021 Astroworld Festival. In 2021, Travis Scott held his 3rd Astroworld Festival in Energy Park in Houston, Texas. Travis is well known for having some of the best and most energetic performances that can definitely get rowdy at times. By this time, he had developed a reputation for disregarding the rules. In 2015, he was arrested for disorderly conduct charges after he encouraged fans to jump over security barriers. In 2017, he was arrested for disorderly conduct and inciting a riot after a concert in Northwest Arkansas. Also in 2017, a fan fell from a balcony at one of his shows. The fall resulted in the fan becoming paralyzed as he blamed Travis for inciting the mayhem that led to him being pushed. There's so many other examples of Travis's reckless behavior, but the Astroworld Festival in 2021 is when everything caught up to him. About 50,000 people attended the event. Despite being sold out, groups of people rushed the gates in order to gain access to the festival. Numerous people were injured, but the situation got worse when Travis tweeted out a message that he was still sneaking the wild ones in. By the time that Travis took the stage later that night, there was fear among the security detail that the event wasn't going to end well. Their concerns unfortunately turned out to be valid, as 10 people died and hundreds were left injured at the event. During a police interview conducted 2 days after the festival, Travis told investigators that although he did see one person near the stage getting medical attention, overall the crowd seemed to be enjoying the show and he did not see any signs of serious problems. This was controversial because people believed that Travis was either aware of what was going on but disregarded it, or he did not do enough to help the situation. Things got even worse when Travis posted a video on social media a day after the tragedy.
I just want to send out prayers to the ones that was lost last night. We're actually working right now to identify the families so we can help assist them through this tough time. You know, my fans really mean the world to me, and I always just really want to leave them with a positive experience. And anytime I can make out, anything that's going on, I stop the show and, help them get the help they need,
Many people felt that Travis was not being sincere in the video, leading to more criticism. Whatever Travis does in his career, the tragedy of the 2021 Astroworld Festival will forever haunt him and remain a permanent stain on his reputation. Rick Ross U.O.E.N.O verse. In 2013, Rick Ross featured on the song U.O.E.N.O by Rocco alongside Future. During his verse, Rick Ross rapped this infamous lyric.
Put Molly all in her champagne. She ain't even know it. I took her home and I enjoyed that. She ain't even know it.
This lyric caused mass outrage, and when questioned about the lyric, Rick Ross said that his lyric was misunderstood. I want to make sure this is clear, that woman is the most precious gift known to man. You understand? It was a misunderstanding with the lyric, a misinterpretation where the term R was not used. I would never use the term R. As far as my camp, hip-hop don't condone that. The streets don't condone that. Nobody condones that. So I wanted to reach out to all the queens that's on my timeline, all the sexy ladies, the beautiful ladies that have been reaching out to me with the misunderstanding. We don't condone R, and I'm not with that. A women's rights group took action against Rick Ross and led a campaign to get him dropped from his endorsement deal with Reebok. The group is known as Ultraviolet, and they protested outside of Reebok's flagship store in New York City, New York. With mounting pressure from the public, Reebok decided to end their partnership with Rick Ross. In a statement, they said that Rick Ross did not live up to the value of their brand and they did not condone SA. They were also disappointed that Rick Ross did not display an understanding of the seriousness of the situation or have an appropriate level of remorse. After being dropped by Reebok, Rick Ross issued another apology. The one thing I don't understand is how the lyric even made the song in the first place. Just imagine how many people heard the song before it was officially released. Even worse, when the music video for the song was released, the lyric is animated. Once again, who approved this? Diddy and Shyne nightclub incident.
If I'm telling you that she's lying, and you saying, hey, well, she helping me, but I'm facing 25 years, and you looking at probation. Yeah, those are the things that, you understand, are unacceptable. You don't have to hold my hand. You don't have to do nothing, but don't try to hurt me.
I know that right now Diddy is on trial and we all know why, but due to that still being ongoing as of the time I'm recording this, I opted to talk about another controversial moment in his career. In 1999, Diddy and Shyne were involved in a nightclub shooting after a dispute that took place in New York City, New York. In 2001, Shyne was sentenced to 10 years in prison after being found guilty of first-degree assault, gun possession, and reckless endangerment. His co-defendants, Diddy and his bodyguard Anthony Wolf Jones, were acquitted of bribery and gun possession. This case is controversial due to a multitude of things. Diddy had separate lawyers from Shyne, with Shyne having lawyers that were once on the payroll of Bad Boy Records. This can be seen as a conflict of interest.
Where, he calling witnesses, to do me dirty, then you understand that, well, man, if these guys is working for him, because I went to the judge like 3 times complaining about inefficiency with my lawyers, because they was just dumbing out. Like, witnesses be on the stand, they would ask them 2 questions that didn't make sense and then sit down. It's obvious that they was selling me, you understand, in order to appease him. There was a dual loyalty there.
Another controversial part of the case is that Diddy and his team called a witness to the stand who testified against Shyne, who was his co-defendant. The woman who testified exonerated Diddy but implicated Shyne. Multiple people were injured at the nightclub on that fateful night, with one noteworthy person being Natanya Rubin. A bullet struck her face and she still has bullet fragments in her face to this day. She has always consistently claimed that it was Diddy that fired the shot that struck her. Another reason why the case was so high profile is due to Jennifer Lopez being there at the club that night. At the time, she was in a highly publicized relationship with Diddy. She was arrested along with Diddy and his bodyguard, who fled the club. Her charges were later dropped. Shyne was released from prison in 2009, and in an interview, he said that Diddy gave him $50,000 after spending a decade behind bars. Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion incident. In 2020, Tory Lanez was accused of firing at Megan Thee Stallion during an argument after leaving a pool party at Kylie Jenner's house. In 2023, Tory was found guilty of assault with a firearm, possession of an unregistered firearm, and negligent discharge of a firearm. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison. People have been very divided on this case, with those who back Megan and those who back Tory. This is the freshest topic that I've discussed in the video because as I'm recording this, Tory Lanez was poked up 14 times in prison but is expected to pull through. This added fire to the flames for those who feel like Tory shouldn't even be locked up in the first place. New developments have also emerged concerning the case between Meg and Tory. A former bodyguard of Kelsey Harris, Megan Thee Stallion's ex-friend, who was there the night of the incident, said that it was Kelsey who fired at Megan instead of Tory. The bodyguard served as Kelsey's bodyguard and driver during the trial. He said that he overheard a conversation that Kelsey had with her husband about the night of the incident. We will soon see what comes of this. Like I said, people are very split on who they believe in this case, which adds to the controversy. Contradictions, a love triangle, Inconclusive DNA evidence, conflicting testimonies, and conspiracy theories are points of contention from both sides of this case when it comes to the fans. Dababy 2021 Rolling Loud incident. When I was in college a couple years ago, I really thought that Dababy was poised to be the next superstar rapper. He kept on dropping hit after hit after hit. He was everywhere and had a style that had crossover appeal. I thought that it was only up for him, but all the hype and momentum that Dababy once had came to a halt after his performance at Rolling Loud in 2021. During his performance, he made comments that were deemed to be homophobic and insensitive.
You didn't show up today with HIV, AIDS, any of them deadly sexually transmitted diseases that'll make you die in 2-3 weeks. Put a cell phone light in the air. Lady, if you smell like water, put a cell phone light in the air. Fellas, lights up. Fellas, if you ain't in the parking lot, put your cell phone lights in the air. Let's be real about this.
I remember when this happened, and to see someone's career just go downhill in real time was crazy to see. Dababy's initial response after the incident did not do him any favors at all and led to more outrage. Dua Lipa, who previously worked with Dababy for her diamond-selling song Levitating, condemned his actions. Elton John, a member of the LGBTQAI+ community, also condemned Dababy for his HIV misinformation and homophobic statements. In the aftermath, Dababy met with 9 HIV awareness organizations and GLAAD as he apologized for his inaccurate and hurtful comments. He lost his collab with Boohoo Man, several of his performances at festivals were cancelled, and he received less radio play. I should add that Dababy's set at Rolling Loud was further criticized for his decision to bring out Tory Lanez as a special guest. By performing at Rolling Loud, Tory violated a protective order that required him to stay at least 100 yards away from Megan Thee Stallion. This was right after Meg's set, and Tory's bail was increased as a result of this. Since Rolling Loud 2021, Dababy's career has never been the same. He's had a few songs that have kinda caught on throughout the years, like Shake Something, which I feel like could have been a hit, but Dababy will most likely never reach the heights that he once did. Mack, Maine, Every Girl in the World verse. In 2009, Young Money released their gold-selling song Every Girl, which was the lead single to their debut album, We Are Young Money. The song peaked at number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100. While the song was a hit, it did not come without controversy. Mack Maine, the president of Young Money Entertainment, rapped one of the most out-of-pocket verses of all time. His most infamous line was about Miley Cyrus.
In about 3 years, holla at me, Miley Cyrus. I don't discriminate, no, not at all.
Why this line drew so much controversy is because Miley Cyrus was 16 when this song was released and was 15 when this song was recorded. Mack Maine telling Miley to holler at him in 3 years would make her 18 in 2010. I shouldn't have to explain why so many people were upset and disgusted at this line in particular, considering that Mack Maine was around 25 years old when he did the song. I really thought that this would be the end of this section, but Every Girl and Mack Maine's comments about Miley Cyrus resurfaced last year due to the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef. During the battle, Kendrick Lamar rapped about Drake liking his girls young. When Mack Maine reacted to Drake's song The Heart Part 6 via a tweet, people responded by calling him out for his past lyrics about Miley Cyrus. Then a bunch of his old tweets towards Miley resurfaced. I think one of the wildest tweets dates back to November of 2009. This is when Miley turned 17 and Mack tweeted at her wishing her a happy birthday. He also told her 1 more year. Bruh, like, are you freaking serious? Like, what the hell? Like, bruh, like, crazy. In 2012, when Miley was now around 20, is when she started to tweet back at Mack, Maine. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this in the comment section below. Professor Griff gets kicked from Public Enemy. Public Enemy is without a doubt one of the greatest rap groups of all time. Their music has stood the test of time and still remains relevant to this very day. During their prime, the group was no stranger to controversy due to their music and what they stood for. After the release of their sophomore album, It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back, the group were embroiled in a major controversy that led to one of their members being kicked out. This member was Professor Griff, who is an integral part of Public Enemy. When questioned about his position in Public Enemy, Griff responded by saying that he held several positions. He was their tour manager for a time, the Minister of Information, leader of the Security of the First World, aka S1Ws, and much more. In 1989, during an interview, Professor Griff was questioned about the books that he carried with him. Professor Griff was interviewed by a black man and he proceeded to ask him about what he was reading. The two went over the information in the books, which led to an hour-long interview. Though the interview was over an hour long, only one small part of the interview was highlighted. It was essentially Professor Griff saying what the media labeled to be anti-Semitic. Griff's comments sparked outrage, which was fine by him because he said that Public Enemy initially had a 2-year plan. They planned to shake things up and then get out of the industry. The heat on Public Enemy increased as Jewish groups started to put pressure on Def Jam Records, the record label of Public Enemy at the time. This led to Professor Griff being kicked out of Public Enemy. In an interview, Griff explained that Chuck D did not want him out of the group, but it was other people like Russell Simmons, Flavor Flav, and Hank Shocklee who wanted him gone. There was actually a press conference where it was announced that Professor Griff was no longer in the group. This happened in June of 1989, and a few days later, there was news that Public Enemy disbanded, but Chuck D said that he never said that the group was going to be disbanded. He clarified that Professor Griff had to lose his position, and now the group had a new Minister of Information named James Norman. But time went by, and Professor Griff got let back into the group, which added to the controversy. During all of this, Chuck D and a rabbi had a discussion on air about the situation.
Well, as far as Public Enemy is concerned, it's not their music. It's the position of Professor Griff and the fact that no one in the music industry, and frankly no important black figure in America, has put Professor Griff in his place. He's
but wait
an
a
unrepentant
minute, Chuck D
bigot.
tells me that he is repentant. Isn't that what you told
Right
me?
now he's going through development of reconciliatory action.
I'm sorry, Chuck, but you're not right. After he rejoined the group, he told a reporter in Kansas City that every word he has said is not 100% pure.
I was there at the time where the reporter hounded him down. Now, the reporter was chasing him down, and what he said, Griff told me himself, and I was right there, and I did not hear that at all. So well, it could have been his action by him saying, please leave me alone. You know, but like I said, since August, he has been on a step-by-step development on reconciling his actions because they don't represent the views of Public Enemy. And Rabbi Cooper, you know so.
Though Professor Griff was brought back, he eventually left the group again. Thank you to everyone who made it to the end. I really appreciate all the love and support. Recently, I've been watching a lot of these explain style type videos on YouTube, and I thought, why not give it a try? Let me know down in the comment section below if you'd like a part 2 and any other explained videos that you'd like me to do. As always, I love you guys with all my heart. Peace.